Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast. I am your girl, Davina, and I am so excited because we are about to have another divine conversation with my divine guest. But before we do, and before I introduce her or have her introduce herself, I just want to make sure you guys remember to like this podcast, share this video, subscribe to all the Divinely Crowned Conversation channels, as well as the website. Check that out. And also, if you have not already seen, today is Divinely Crowned's 4-year anniversary. Yay! I wish I knew how to use like these little buttons over here, or I'd be making some claps and stuff. But either way, we'll get into what this special thing is right here too. But before we do, let me introduce you to my guest, my divine guest, Miss Jenessa Newlywed Norton. I literally just made that up off the top of my
it's
head.
still so weird to hear the Norton.
Norton, yes.
I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you. Kate said happy anniversary. So, Miss Jenessa, why don't you introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, so my name is Jenessa Norton. Jenessa Newlywed Norton. That's a change my face.
Yes.
I'm an entrepreneur, mother, wife, activist, and a lover of all things.
Yes, lover of all things. And we're going to get way more in depth into who Jenessa is, not just what she does, but who she is. So as you can see, she's got a bottle of Moet. Hold on, let me see if I can't really show you, but she has a bottle of Moet. She's like, listen, we're going to celebrate today.
I said, oh no, I brought champagne glasses.
I was like, okay, and we're gonna pop this right on live, so you guys are getting an exclusive. If I can open, look, I ain't never had no bottle of Moet. Listen, so we are gonna open this, and then we're gonna get into the conversation. I'm hoping this does not pop.
I am ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
She got napkins. Listen, Kyra said happy anniversary, Davina. Thank you. She said yes. Jenessa, come through with the champagne. Listen. These are the type of queens you need in your life, okay? That are willing to celebrate with you, even when you might not be willing to celebrate yourself. So, all right.
So the little thing,
yes. There. Okay. I'm so nervous to do this right. Like, okay, I don't. Okay, y'all.
Congratulations.
All right. Okay. Y'all don't make fun of me.
Ready? It's hard.
It is. Woo! Okay, and if I don't want it to. Okay. Hey! Listen, I was not trying to spill that. Kate said I wouldn't expect her to show up anything less. True queen. We love it. Camille put all these champagne bottles. So instead of coffee this morning, we are going to have champagne with this conversation. I love it. Yes, it is. This is a breakfast for queens. And we're going to toast too.
Thank you.
Yes. Listen, she brought cups for us and everything, y'all. Listen, Camille and Jenessa, which we'll get into who Camille is to Jenessa, obviously, as we go on. But Camille was my guest from the other day. Yep, look, I spilled.
I got it.
Yes. All right. Beautiful. There you are. People probably tune in like, what the heck is going on? Cheers
to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers to all y'all too out there watching. We turning up all day for Divinely Crowned's anniversary. Okay. Kate said, haha, we know you love your tipsy bean, but this morning it's just getting tipsy part. I love this. Yes. Listen, my favorite, one of my top favorites. So here's okay, Moet. Okay. So let's get into this Divinely Crowned conversation, okay? So I always like to start off with how I know my guest. And so for Jenessa and I, we went to school together.
We did.
I think when did you graduate?
12.
Oh, you were a little baby.
Yeah,
You are a little baby.
I am a baby.
But you don't
usually
see
the youngest
but
ever.
you don't seem like it. So
Yeah.
we obviously went to school together. You were always so feisty. That's what I remember about Janessa. And that's a
nice
good
way to put
thing.
it.
That is no, but you were. But you know what? I will say, even right now, you have grown into like just one powerful, even might be humble young woman, grown woman.
Thank
So, but yes, you have. And so just watching Janessa grow, and even just through social media and now connecting through these last few years, it's just been like a beautiful thing. So I'm like, I definitely got to get Janessa on the podcast. Her husband and I actually graduated together. He was like my brother in high school.
Yes.
Yes. He was literally, we were close. We fought like brother and sister too. So yeah, so we will get into that too. But yeah, so that is how, we met. But on Divinely Crowned Conversations podcast, we're all about talking about the journey of becoming the queens we are destined to be. So where we come from, where we are, and where we are going. So I always like to start with where you come from. So tell me a little bit about where Jenessa came from.
Where Jenessa comes from. So a lot of people don't know, but I'm actually not from Erie.
I just recently saw that.
Yes. So I am from New York, different areas of New York. I was born in Rochester.
Okay.
And then moved around quite a bit with my father before my mom finally got a good job in Erie.
Okay.
How old was I? I think it was about I don't know, some grade. It was a while ago.
One of them grades.
So I still say I'm from Erie because I've lived here for so long. I mean, how can you not say
for sure
you're from here?
So, for sure.
That's actually my original background. I have no family here.
Oh wow.
Just me, my mom, and my brother.
Wow.
So that was a very big thing that I had to adapt to when moving to Erie because everyone is related to everyone.
Yes.
And with a last name like Williams and entering into my first city school, everyone was like, "Oh, you're my cousin." Oh, yeah. I'm like, no. Eventually, I just started saying, "Oh yeah, definitely."
Then they asked you what side, what one?
Yeah, it was just like it was so. Erie was very different and is very different from the area that I'm from. But I really love Erie. It took me years to say this because when I moved to Erie, everyone was like, "I hate Erie. I hate it. It's terrible. It's a black cloud. It's this. It's that." And I was like, well, this isn't much different from anywhere I've lived. And I just feel like if people got outside of Erie, they'd see that, everywhere has its own issues.
Yeah.
And it's okay to love Erie.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a thing we always say. But, me and my husband, when we got married, we were kind of decided, okay, well, now are we going to move or are we going to do this? And we actually decided we were going to stay here. We have a 5-year plan for at least the next 5 years.
Okay.
So, I like to consider myself an Erieite, but yeah, that's a little bit of
back. Yeah. So you talk about So you said you moved here when you were in 4th or 5th grade.
Dude, I can't even remember, honestly. I remember my first real school was Bell Valley.
Bell Valley. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So that was elementary.
So do you remember any a lot of what where you lived beforehand, in New York?
Yes, I do. It wasn't. I lived with my dad.
Okay.
Before I moved to Erie, it was in West Virginia. My parents had me when they were very young.
Okay.
They were 19 years old. So I think they were just trying to figure out how to find themselves while still trying to figure out how to be parents and navigate through a lot of racial issues that was going on because my mom comes from a very small country town.
Yeah.
There's one stoplight, cows everywhere. It's called Sherman, New York. It's my heart. I talk about it a lot. But Sherman wasn't always like it is now. And my father's side was from the ghettos of Buffalo. So those two people having a child created a lot of issues.
Wow.
From both sides. So it was, I don't remember much from my childhood, but my younger years, because it was a lot. And I think I never got the help I needed in those younger years. And that's what kind of contributed to my my all overness in high school. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was, what I was going to do with my life. The biggest thing is I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really remember much, but I try to focus on the good that I do remember now.
For sure, for sure.
And both of my parents are amazing, amazing parents today, and even phenomenal grandparents. So that's just all I choose.
To for sure, for sure. And thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so you are biracial, and you talk about you know, not understanding or not really knowing who you are. And I always just thought biracial like children were so beautiful because you do have those two different worlds. And I'm like, you get to know both sides, but you talk about the fact that, you know, you didn't know who you are kind of because of that. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. And if you know me, which I feel like a lot of people in here don't know me, except the very few people I keep in that circle. Like you talked about with Camille.
Yeah.
I really truly am both sides. Like I love country music.
Yeah.
I love being outdoors. I love animals. I love everything that my mother's side is, but I also am so much of my father.
Yeah.
I'm both.
Yeah.
And it's now such a beautiful thing because I'm able to be so many different things while still being myself. And it took me a while to learn that you can be all of these things, and all of these diverse experiences that you've had, it's actually made you this wholesome, well-rounded individual that can appreciate being in different neighborhoods and different music and different cultures.
Yes.
So now when I travel across the country, I have such an appreciation for the culture. Like I want to, for my 30th, I want to go to like Africa, but I don't want to go to a resort in Africa.
Yeah.
Like I want to go to the inn in Africa and experience individual cultures. And even while in Italy, I don't want to do the Americanized. I want to live like the Italians.
Yes.
So I really have a deep appreciation for all different types of cultures. And I think living two very different lives, and then learning how to mend that into one beautiful life was the best thing I ever did for myself.
I love this. And I'm like, there's so many things I want to touch on with just that one part of the conversation. So I will probably be all over with this, but I do want to go back because you said that you have a sibling. Are you the oldest or youngest?
So I only have one brother.
Okay.
He's my little brother. His name's Dante. So okay. I am the older sibling, and I am very much an older sister. My brother had a very different experience than I did because he never lived with my dad. So he never had to move. He always lived with my mom in Sherman.
Okay.
So if you know my brother, he is definitely more in touch with his Caucasian. But it's crazy because as he grows and as he gets older, now he's starting to become more accustomed and more in touch with our Black side. So it's like, okay, like I'm kind of seeing him now grow. He grew a lot slower.
Yeah.
But now I like look at him no longer as like a little brother, like as he's really growing up into this very cool, interesting man. And it's a very weird thing to see because me and my brother have a huge love-hate relationship.
I get it.
Like, I mean, when we were little, there were trips to the emergency room. I hit him in the face with a broom. He like poured stuff all over. It was like a mess. It was a mess. But it was really, and oh God, I hope he's not watching this because
we hope he is because listen, he might need to chime in. Tell your side. No, I'm
playing. The deepest deep of it is I think I almost had a little bit of resentment for my brother. And I admitted it as an adult.
Yeah.
But it's the conversation I never had with him because he didn't have to deal with the same things I did growing up. He got to live in Sherman.
Yeah.
It was great. And my father was very strict.
Yeah.
Very strict about religion, very strict about grades, very strict about everything. The food we ate, like, so he got to live his best, beautiful life with no rules. And my mom was anyone that knows Debbie knows that she is like, whatever, go with the flow. She's free flowing. So I had a lot of resentment from all of that. And I think it kind of got into our relationship in our younger years, but we were so young, and I put that behind me now that we're, grown adults. I can now like love and appreciate him for the person he is and not for the experiences he didn't experience.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I totally get that. Like I'm the second of 4 kids. So I get all the things with like, the resentment or how we felt when we were younger versus like learning each other as adults. That is a whole different world. Like we'll get into talking about friends, but like learning your sibling as an adult and who they are and understanding who they are and having to reflect on maybe how different things were, especially being in the oldest too. I'm sure that's a whole different world because I talk to my sister all the time about her experience as an oldest versus even me as the second oldest because I kind of got the oldest experience, but I'm also not the oldest. So I totally get that. But being able to say like, I felt these ways, but I'm seeing him for this man now, and it's a beautiful thing. So, and I think sibling relationships when they're older are so valuable. So I love that. And I love that.
Tell us too. They tell, when you guys get older, you'll be the best of friends.
Yeah.
And my mom would say that all the time. And I'd be like, absolutely not. We are 2 different people. There's no way. And now, like, I love kicking it with him. So,
I love it. And I feel like I know my parents always would say like, you're going to need your siblings when you get older and stuff. And I'm like, whatever. But like, you do.
And just in case he is, or someone in my family is, I want to touch on that because Dante's always needed me for something, his life. But now that we're older, I need him for everything. He is a phenomenal mechanic.
Yeah.
And in just like a knower of all things that have to do with tools or fixing things. And his passion is cars. And so now it's me calling him all the time. Something happened to Pooh's cars. I don't know what to do. How do I do this? So it's like, I really now can appreciate he is now there for me more than I am there for him. And it's literally one phone call. All right, I'm on my way.
Oh,
so I really do appreciate
Well, shout out Dante. Shout out to brother Dante if he's out there. Your sister loves you, okay? She loves you, okay? We got some comments already coming in. Kate, love that transparency. She also said, OMG, I'm hitting the hearts, but it's showing up angry. But I love this topic. Kate, you been drinking some Moet this morning on Monday too? Because if so, cheers to you, sis. And then Camille said, girl, I didn't believe that lie either. I thought I'd fight my brother to the day we die.
And they have a beautiful.
She
Zoe, they have a beautiful.
She shared how they even lived with each other and everything. Yes, so listen, that's how life be. I get it. And then we have Paige. She said, good morning, queens. I love Jenessa. Paige Williams says that is not your cousin, though, right? So you are a mother. So talking about growing up and your sibling and things like that. So you're a mom, which you are very proud of. I see your baby girl all the time. So tell me a little bit how maybe your experiences as a big sister and this life you've lived have shaped you into the mother you are today.
Yeah, so I think whether I'm a sister, whether I'm a friend, whether I'm a cousin, whether I'm a mom, I've always had a very, I don't know what the word it would be, I guess motherly instinct about me. I care very deeply for people.
I get it.
I'm very bluntly honest with my friends and my family. And I just have always been the person to carry the pack. So I always knew I wanted to have children. At the time, I really, really wanted, I was extremely young, but I really wanted a child. So
I get it.
We had one. And that was a very weird, bizarre, when I tell people that, they're like, God, you were so young. And that's what I did. And obviously the person that I had a child with was not the correct person, but he is a great dad today. And I feel like that's all that matters in regards to that relationship. But motherhood came very easy to me. And I think it's because I was well prepared and it's something that I wanted so deeply. I also was a stay-at-home mom for several months. So I was able to stay home and connect directly with my daughter. And but as soon as it hit that point, like I thought I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, right? Until it was about 4, 5, 6 months in, and I was like, oh, I'm going crazy. I need to go back to work. I need to get out of here. And I did. And I think finding that like, oh, I can be both. I can be a successful businesswoman and I can be a rock star mom. You don't have to pick and choose. Was really cool. So I obviously got out of that relationship, and I wanted to give my daughter everything that I had in my childhood and everything I didn't have in my childhood. And really what that meant was going to school. I had to get my degree. So I worked full-time. I was a full-time college student. I was a full-time mother. I was a homeowner. I was very mature. And this was all happening at 19, 20 years old. So I got my first home at 19, but it was all of this. I did it for her.
Yeah.
I'm going to show her, even if there's not a man in the picture, I'm going to show her what a home looks like.
Yes.
So we moved back in our home, and I went to school, and I'm going to show her what hard work looks like. I'm going to show her how important education is. And I feel like now she's 8 years old. I did that. Like now that I look at her now, and she's just everything that I worked so hard. Because parenthood and motherhood is work. Like anyone that says it's not, they're crazy. It is a full-time job.
Yeah.
And you have to invest in your children, whether it's a good school or whether it's extracurricular activities or whether it's just time.
Yeah.
Time. And hey, she's going through this weird phase of girls are being mean at school.
Oh, I get that one too.
So now it's all about confidence and stuff like that. But I choose to have those deep, hard conversations with her at such a young age, because these kids are growing up way too young. And I'll be damned if I'm that parent where my daughter has to find answers for her questions at school.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's kind of how it was for me. I couldn't really come home and ask my mom those questions. So I would ask my friends at school, who are also just trying to figure themselves out.
Facts.
And then bad decisions were made.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you have so much goodness in that whole thing. Let me see. I have Jaleesa. She said, so true. You have to invest in your children. You do. And first of all, you talk about being a single mom. I mean, not a single mom, but also a stay-at-home mom, which I want to touch on real quick, because I know people think that being a stay-at-home mom is so easy. Like you just get up and you do whatever. But it's not. And I mean, the only time I've really fully been a stay-at-home mom, well, besides recently, but was during maternity leave. But for you to be able to say, like, I had these months where I was able to be home with her. So, like, what did being a single mom look like? And what would you say to somebody who maybe is thinking about being a stay-at-home mom? Did I say single mom or stay-at-home mom?
Yeah.
Stay-at-home mom. So yeah, what would you say to somebody who for that?
So I think it's a beautiful thing. I wish America actually had a like legalized, put in place maternity leave, because those months are so critical, and it really helped develop even she was just an infant. I truly believe that is why our relationship is today.
Yeah.
But the offside of being a stay-at-home mom is just be very careful who you are with, because at this point I wasn't a single mom. I was still with the child's father, and that's kind of where I learned the manipulation that can take place when you don't have your own source of income. It was very hard for me to finally leave, because when I did leave, even though I was kind of going back to work at that time, when I finally left, I had $8.76 in my bank account. And I'll never forget that number, because now I'm in such a beautiful place where money hasn't been an issue for years. But I knew right then and there that I would never allow myself to be in that position again, not even with my husband, who I trust with my entire life. Having your own is very important, no matter who you're going through this with. But the positive side of being a stay-at-home mom is you get to stay home. You also get to heal.
Yeah.
I had a C-section. I was in a lot of pain. I didn't have postpartum. I was very lucky to not have any issues in regards to that. But just still, figuring out my life, figuring out my body, figuring out her body, and just it was a beautiful thing, but it quickly became toxic because I was dependent on this person, and that can be very scary.
Yeah, for sure. And I can definitely relate in other ways. So I moved back with my parents because of my relationship and things like that. So, and that was hard for me. So for you, I commend you to be like, listen, I once we broke up and we moved our separate ways, and I was determined. And I think it looks different for different people. So you walked away from the relationship and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do this for us. I'm going to bust my butt and I'm going to buy my first home at 19. And that, which is,
so
yes.
It all sounds very
good.
Okay.
Listen,
it sounds very good, but don't let it sound like I did not go through hell.
For sure.
I did.
Yeah.
And mentally, I was a nutcase. I did move back in with my mom, I think, for 5 or 6 months because I mean, for the first month, I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't get myself out of bed. So it's hard. It sounds really good. And yes, I was very determined, but I still went through that.
I get it.
I let my daughter down. I wasn't taking care of myself. So I think everyone kind of goes through that, especially when they go through a rough breakup. So everything that I went through, you probably went through.
Yeah.
I went through.
Listen, that might have to be a whole nother conversation. Yeah. So now let's talk about this beautiful marriage you're in now. Okay. When the pandemic hit, you got engaged, or you were engaged before?
I was engaged. I was supposed to get married in 2020.
Okay. Yes. So, and I watched that journey. I think like a lot of people who follow you on social media. So tell me how married life, newlywed Norton, how is that going? And I say that because you just got married in August. Okay. I was like, not September, August. Yes. Yeah. So how is that going for you?
People ask me all the time, do you feel different? I don't feel different. And I think it's because I say it all the time. My husband and the family we have built and created is my biggest success story. I've done so many things in this world, but they are my biggest flex. And it's because
I love that.
He is everything a man should be. Like I don't know. It's so hard to put it into words, but it's beautiful. I would say the only thing that feels different is the name. It's taken me a little bit to adjust to Norton because I've been Williams for years.
Yeah, so, for your whole life, pretty much. Yeah.
So that was a little different. But marriage and being in a successful Black marriage is really so. It's just so riveting. It makes me so proud to just me be his and he be mine. It's just like he truly is my best friend. And I champion marriage. I know marriage isn't a very popular thing in our society.
It's popular for me. Yeah, it's still gonna listen. I'm a huge fan of marriage. I come from a parents that 33 or 34 years married. So, and all three of my siblings are married. So, yeah, and then it's me. So I'm all about marriage. So I love hearing this conversation, by the way.
Yes, yeah. But I think there's something also beautiful in being single. Though.
Yeah.
I know you really are. And the biggest thing, and it's crazy because when I got out of my last relationship, it was 7 years. So
oh, wow.
I've always had long relationships.
Oh, yeah.
And the very first thing I did was like, oh, I need a replacement. I need something to distract my mind and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't find it. And I think that it was such a just like, girl, just don't search it.
Yeah, let it come to you.
And he came to me in the form of a friend.
Okay.
And I was not with it. All of our friends were like, he likes you. Isn't that? He's really
wow.
Like, I don't know. Because it takes me so long to really like someone. And I was like, I don't see it. Like, I don't think I'm really into him. And then I saw his kindness. And I like time and time again, not to me, to other people. Like, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm sorry, real quick. We got your man in the comments. Your husband. He said, relax, TMI, LOL. Can you let her be great real quick? Okay. Before I call you your nickname on here. Okay. Go ahead.
No. I just saw his kindness time and time again. And I saw how like pure of a soul he was. And it wasn't just to me. And I think that's the biggest thing. When a guy likes you, he's super nice to you. Right? But is he nice to that stranger on the street?
That's good.
Is he nice to your family, to your friends? And does he support you? It was more than being nice. He was making sure we were both in college, struggling. I was going for finance. He was going for engineering. 2 hard degrees, hard professors. he was checking up on me to make sure I'm getting assignments done, and we would have studies. And then finally I was like, this is really everything you ever wanted. Like, what are you doing? So then I just kissed him.
Yes, and the rest is history. So look at, she was trying to tell a good love story, Deja.
Always coming for me.
Let me get in the comments. Kate said that, she said that day is coming, and she put a heart. She's talking to me. Kate is always with her encouragement of that. Same for you, sister.
Yes.
Heather, she put a bunch of hearts in the comments, and then she put claps. Heather Morris. And then we have Kate. She said, yes, character is who they are when no one is watching. And I just love that, like, especially as a Black man in Erie, because I do believe that a lot of times Black men in Erie get a rep of just not caring and all this and that, and we won't even go into that. But just for you to be able to have that in your husband, like, I think is a beautiful thing, especially at a young age, because we are still young.
Yeah.
And so for you to be able to have found that, and you're like, listen, like, I love this is my best friend and everything, like, I'm very happy for you guys. Like, and you can see, not just like, social media can say one thing, but even in person, like when I see you guys, you can tell how much he takes care of you and you take care of him. And I love it so much. Black love is a beautiful thing. Okay. So dear God, can you hear me? He can. I know. And Camille and I, okay, we'll get into friendship next, but Camille, who is my last guest, her and I are in our single season, and being able to relate to what she's saying, and patience and the waiting and things like that is important, because God has somebody good out there for us. So talking about friendship, we had one of your best friends on my last interview. So friendship seems to be very important to you.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So I am a very serious friend. I take friendship very seriously. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that doesn't always fit for everyone, and that's okay. But I'm a friend who requires a lot. Yeah. And if you ask anyone in our direct circle, they will tell you I am a friend that requires a lot, because I give my all to my friends, and I expect this in return. And Camille is one of those friends who, as you've seen, and she loves so deeply, and that's why I am so attracted to her friendship and friendships like hers. Yeah. So our group is very, very close. I would say it's about made up of 5 or 6 of us. And we are each other's champions. We support each other. We uplift each other. We correct each other. We're not afraid to be real with each other. Sometimes in the past that has looked crazy, but we have learned like positive and healthy ways to correct each other. Yeah. And friendship really does and always has meant the world to me. I just haven't found the right group. And it's another thing of being patient. I've been done dirty. I
feel you. I feel you.
Dirty, like really dirty.
I get it.
So to have such a beautiful group of women who are motivated and happy and loving is really, it's everything to me. So I really appreciate all of them.
Listen here. This is a great conversation. We got Camille. What Camille said, she said, Davina want to say, dear Lord, I see what you're doing for others. I really am. Camille, you know what I'm going through. She said, love you, Jay. And Kyra said, you better preach. So I want to get more into friendship, because I believe as adults, friendship looks different. And how you said, like, I've been done dirty, like, I definitely feel you. Like my mom, almost every friend that I've had growing up, and like you said, you cherish friendship, you go hard. Like I go hard for friendship, like very hard as well. So it hasn't been until I got older and I'm kind of like really feeling like, okay, this person might not hurt me like this, like I've been hurt and did dirty. So you talk about, all, like how you guys are able to interact and stuff. So tell me, like, what a good friendship looks like to you.
I think it looks like so many different things. And when you look at the group, we all came together. Well, truly, I guess they were all my friends. I'm a big believer in my friends meeting my other friends, and let's be best friends. And there's a lot of people that aren't like that. That are like, I want my friends to be friends with each other because then they're going to be best friends. So that is like, no, then I succeeded. Then I have a good group of people around me if you all want to be best friends with each other. So like my one best friend, her name is Teresa. Everyone knows Teresa. She was my maid of honor. She's been my best friend since middle school. We have a very real, in-depth friendship. Like she knows me and I know her probably way too good. Yeah. So we have that ability to be real with each other, correct each other, you know, champion each other and say, yes, girl, but also more than anything, no, girl. So that's what friendship looks like. But then friendship also looks like Savannah. And I met Savannah when I was bartending and waitressing at Max and Irma's, and she was just my coworker. And I, when I moved back in my house, I couldn't afford it really bad. Again, $8.76. Yeah, I was broke. Yeah, and I was going to college. I didn't have money, and she got in a bad situation with her roommate and was about to move back to Florida. She's from Florida, not even from here. And we were like, "Do you want to be roommates?" And I was like, "I don't know." She was like, I think we'd be good roommates. And I was like, I think we should be roommates. And that alone has now, she's one of my very best friends. I love it. All of these years later. And what friendship with her looks like, it looks airy and fresh and fun. And hey, girl, what are you doing today? Like, let's get together. We love the same music. We have the same hobbies. We do the same things. And sometimes it's a Sunday fun day. And sometimes it's snuggling on the couch watching a movie. I love it. And then friendship with Camille, it's like, okay, girl, let's be professional. Let's go to these things. You know, I want to see you succeed. And I think friendship can be so many different things. And that's why I love the friend group that I have, because they're able to give me everything I could ever need in this group. And we give that to each other. So it's, and I didn't forget about Nia. I didn't forget about Erica. I love you both too. But that group, they're really, listen, I literally can feel, like, as you're talking, I can feel the love you have for them. And I definitely can relate. I'm one of my best friends, Monique, since we throwing out names, okay? She's the same way. And it's like, I literally tell people all the time, like, I was at a point in my life where, like, I'm like, okay, God, why do people keep doing me dirty? Like, why are these friends that, like, since I was young, I'm like the one, I would be bringing Christmas gifts, garbage bags full of Christmas gifts to my friends, like people not really caring or like taking advantage. So I get it. But like, I prayed for her and like, she is everything, like some of everything that you're saying. So shout out to best friends and friendship. I have Dejan in the comments. He said, just gonna leave me out the friend group like I ain't the glue. See, control this entire podcast. I promise. Listen, first of all, he went from saying TMI relax to now he want to be a part of the conversation. Choose a battle, sir. Devonna, one of my best friends and my sister, she said, love this. And she said, reciprocity is key. And then she put a heart. So I love, this is just giving me so much life. Yes. And it's not the Moet. If you're just tuning in, it is Divinely Crown'd's 4-year anniversary. And Jenessa brought a bottle of Moet for us to share. So that is our breakfast this morning. So we've been through the family, the friends. So I want to get more into your journey. So before I got on, I was talking to you a little bit about back in 2020, you were very out here in activism, and you even talked about that kind of in the beginning. So what made you get into activism? I think it's been a passion of mine forever. Okay. I think if you know my background, you know my childhood, racism, prejudice, it's always been a big part of my life. I mean, I could talk all day. It's just been so big just from where I come from. So it's always been a very big part of me. I couldn't figure out how to use my voice. I let a lot of things slide in my childhood. And it's my deepest regret. I mean, people would say horrible things to me or just downright stupid, like about my hair. You're not really black. You're not white. You're not one of them. It's just like, at a point in time in my life, I was surrounded by so many white people and I went to white schools, and I wasn't around my father's side as much. I was really around my mom's side, and some of the stuff that was said to me it always hurt me, but I always would laugh it off, and I couldn't find a way to use my voice. And it's one of my only deepest regrets as an adult looking back. So obviously when 2020 came around, and just the nature of our country and everything that was going on, and with George Floyd, it brings me back. Like, I felt that so deeply. I remember being at a friend's house when the riots happened in Erie. I was at a party. I don't remember whose birthday. I want to say it was Sunita's birthday. I don't remember whose birthday it was, but I was at a friend's house, and I saw the riots happen. And I it was a protest. I saw about it all morning, and I thought, how beautiful that this is going to happen up and down State Street. And this protest is going to happen, and it's going to be a peaceful thing, and it's going to be so beautiful. And it finally was like Erie change. You know what I mean? Like, just because this is happening around the country, we care here in Erie too. And now we're going to start caring about Erie. So it was just such a beautiful thing. But then I remember being in a bedroom looking on Facebook that it actually turned into a riot and everything that happened. And I literally sat down and started crying. I felt that so deeply. And I remember Dejan coming in and saying, "What's wrong?" And I like explained it to him. Like, I was so upset. Because I think it needed to be done, but I hate when things are trampled on. Yeah. Because now it's not this beautiful protest. Yeah. Now it's this angry riot. You know, man throws through coffee shop window. And Hannah Kirby, by the way, is a phenomenal.
Shout out to Hannah. She is beautiful. She just had her anniversary, 5-year anniversary the other day. Yes. So happy anniversary for your business, Hannah Kirby.
Yeah, she's so beautiful. I connected with her very early So long story short, I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. So I started going down to the protests. I started connecting with people. I obviously connected with Andre. We started Erie Equal, which blew up in flames. And it all kind of, but it was one of the best years of my life because I got to do what I really, really loved. But now I'm just doing it still, but just from behind the scenes. Because if there's one thing about Erie, those politics are gonna get me every time. Yeah. And Andre was the politician and I was the activist, and it didn't, obviously, as everyone knows, it didn't work out. Yeah. But I couldn't get on with, dealing with Erie politics.
I can't either. Please leave me alone. Like, no, y'all hear me and her. Okay. Leave us alone.
There's some people that they wanted to mentor me. They would be in my inbox emails. Let me mentor you. Let me help you. And it's like, you're a horrible person. Why would I ever? You're like crooked. Why would I want? I don't want to deal with politics.
I can't deal with politics either.
An open place for Black people. I don't want to do politics. So.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
No one knows what I went through. Like,
I can only imagine. And
like, I would say Aaron Horton, Kennedy Horton, and Dejan Norton. Those three truly know.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them, because they were three strong Black men that had my back and were behind me through it all. I love every single one of them, and because that was a year.
Listen, if we're gonna do a Divinely Crowned anniversary, we're gonna do it real, raw, and transparent. Yeah. Okay, we have comments. We have Lala Torres. She gave hearts, and then she said, "Pooh, hey stranger." That's Latrice. We graduated with her too. And then my mom said, my mom. She is my second mom, Devon. Devonna said we didn't like the way, which I do want to talk a little bit more about that, because I feel like you have connected with Erie's Black Wall Street in a major way. And they're my heart. Obviously, two of them are my sister and my sister-in-law. But tell me about your connection with Erie's Black Wall Street. And for those who don't know, because I believe this is going to be heard everywhere. So Erie's Black Wall Street is pretty much the hub for our Black community. All things Black. That's all I'm going to say in a short version. So tell me about your connection with Erie's Black Wall Street.
Yeah, so it all really happened when Devonna saw what I was going through and saw that my voice was powerful and I think she just knew.
Mm-hmm.
And she invited me over for dinner to her place, and they kind of were like talking about Aries Blackwell. It wasn't even it was in the works, but it wasn't like public.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, wow, this is such a beautiful thing. And I like gave them their flowers, and oh my God, Angel, by the way, can cook.
Yeah. Oh, we know. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Angel. She know how to cook. She definitely knows how to cook. She might as well just hurry up and get a restaurant or something.
And I just thought that was so sweet of them to invite me into their personal space in their home to guide me. And I really learned a lot in the short conversation that we did have there, in the short dinner we had. But yeah, so I was really there when I was just hearing about it. It was in the works, and I was like, guys, this is a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
But at the time, it wasn't even what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true growth.
Mm-hmm.
Because they looked at the organization and said, oh, we can do this, but we can be all of these things too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I really like Aries Black Wall Street. I love the women who run it.
Mm-hmm.
I love being a part of it. And I will continue to share and show up to events, because what they are doing for our community is phenomenal.
Yes.
And I just want to see them continue to do great things.
Yes, so. I love it. And Devonna, she said, I didn't finish. She said, we didn't like the way she was treated towards that end of Erie Equal. Yes. I remember some of that. For sure. So, and she also said, yes, my boo Angelica throws down in the kitchen. Yes, she does. Yeah. So I want to talk. So Divinely Crown'd is all about self-love and confidence. And a lot of what you've told me and talked about, it seems like confidence is a big deal. And you have to have confidence almost to do or live kind of how you live as a biracial woman, and all these things you've done in your life. So tell me what confidence means to you.
Confidence to me is a battle. And I could come on here and I could say, oh, it's this and that, and I have this, but it's just not the truth. And I just don't think that's me. I've struggled with confidence my entire life. I've struggled in my younger years with who I was.
Yeah.
I had a child and didn't have the same body and was ridiculed very heavily for it. So I did not find self-love. This is going to sound crazy, but I really did not find self-love until this year.
That's not crazy.
It's not, I guess, because I know people that are still struggling with it today. But it was just always a battle for me. A mental battle to where, oh, I look and I feel good. Oh, you look good. But with makeup on and with my hair done and when I'm in heavily in the gym, but I never felt pretty just as being me. Then in my younger years, combined with not really knowing who I was, back then I didn't know how to do my hair. It was a lot. So I would still say it's a journey. I'm still going through my journey. I will say my husband has helped tremendously with my self-confidence. And it's not even just like you're beautiful, this, because I could have swore just last night at the table, he was like, you're pretty. Because just like looking across the night, and I rolled my eyes because I still am in my like, whatever. Yeah. But it's not necessarily him giving me compliments. It's the love towards me. And I think once he poured that love, like, you're this, but look at all of these other things. I started to love myself for being strong. I started to love myself for being smart. And then I was like, oh, I'm not that bad looking. And I found like clothes that looked better on my type of body. And it's crazy because my friends are like, girl, you've been fine, right? Like you've been it. And I'm just like, okay, okay. So then I would say a lot of this year I've been posting. I've been like putting myself in different types of clothes and just been a lot more confident. And I would really say it's to the help of just growing up and being more mature. My husband and then my friends who are literally consistently in the group chat.
Yes. I want to be in this group chat because Camille was talking about it too. No, I'm like, but no. And when I said like it's going to sound crazy because like I tell people all the time, I tell my clients, like I'm a whole confidence coach and I don't got this figured out and I don't always love myself. Last night, I will tell you, this weekend, I told you before, I was like, it's been rough. Yeah. Last night, I took one of those like erasable markers and I put on my mirror, my big mirror that sits in front of my bed. I put, I am enough because I have not been feeling like enough. So it's a constant journey. But the beautiful thing is that you like this year, I think I found something. And sometimes I might get somebody on here that might not find it at all. But I believe that it's about working at it every day. Like everything else in our lives, confidence is a constant thing you have to work at. And I'm just proud of you for even being able to be like, I want to even touch on real quick about how you said your husband helps you with that, because I do believe we live in this like, oh, you need to love yourself first, and you can't worry, like, how are you going to worry about what else somebody else feels about you if you can't. But I do believe we need others to pour into us. And you're saying like he pours into me, he speaks life into me, he tells me I'm beautiful. And I think that's a huge thing to say, that your partner is able to pour into you like that and make you feel beautiful as well when you don't feel beautiful, because it's important. So I love that. Hold on. The comments are commenting. This is my little Nana. Now, this is really my grandma. I said Devonna was my mom, but she said, Jenessa, you are doing an excellent interview. Thanks for sharing all of your amazing achievements and accomplishments. Wishing you success and God bless. Congratulations, Divinely Crowned, on your 4-year anniversary. Wonderful conversation, ladies. Thank you, Nana. And then Devonna said, we love Jenessa. Dejan said the definition of hard work. She wears every hat, and if you get one thing from her, is going to be some motivation. Easy to stand behind. If y'all seen the behind the scenes Jenessa, it really is impressive. LOL. Look at him. And then he said, "Aha, Treese, what's up? Camille, been it, fire." And then Paige, boss lady Jenessa. Giovanna, she said, I know, right? We love y'all. They be comment. My viewers be commenting, and my interviewers support systems be amazing. I love it. Giovanna said, love you, sister. And then Paige said, I told her before she motivated me. I love that. So how does it feel to hear all this?
It feels honestly really, really good. Like it just made my day. I was having a slow morning, and I think like I said, I didn't want to have coffee or anything. Mm-hmm. Now I feel like I don't even need coffee.
Yes.
Like a natural high. Yes. It's so sweet.
Shut out. We love this is what Divinely Crowned. I'm just gonna keep saying it. This is what it's all about. And like I said, I started this because I wanted to talk about these journeys. We all have these unique, and I do believe beautiful journeys, no matter how painful it might have been, no matter where you're at now. Like we all have this journey we're on, and it's just like seeing people that are like, oh no, you it girl, and your husband, like, I love it here. We have Danielle Lee. She said, another great conversation. Thank you. Danielle connected from Camille's conversation. So this is just so beautiful. So a big part of your journey is traveling. I literally live vicariously through you, okay, all the time. But I just got my passport in September, so I'm about to be living out here like Jenessa, hopefully.
Wait, where's the first place you're going?
Greece. We're going to yes. Well, it's being booked in January, but nice. We have the dates. So the dates are there, but we just have to book the
I'm so excited for you. You guys are gonna love that. It's like all of you going.
Mm-hmm. Right? Oh the block list. So our friends group is going. Yeah, that came out the pandemic too, but we won't talk about that.
We will not. We will not.
That's the short and sweet version. But tell me, like, how did you get into traveling, or tell me about your traveling life.
I would say again, my love for different cultures. Mm-hmm. Like I feel cultures and different experiences very deeply. Mm-hmm. Like I don't like to just go somewhere and just see, like I like to just take a moment and soak it in. Because I think different cultures and different ethnicities and different religions and different colors and different hairstyles, and I just it's what makes our world so beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I love to travel. And I'm so lucky enough, and I feel like I keep bringing him up, but I'm so lucky enough to have a partner.
Listen, when I get a husband, y'all gonna be hearing worse than Jenessa. So I love that she's bragging about her man. Okay.
But I'm very grateful to have a partner who also shares the same love for traveling. So we travel often, and more than anything, I am so humbly grateful that I have the ability to travel as much as I do. But yeah, I want to see everywhere in the world. I just want to see everywhere. Right now, we're kind of focusing on the U.S. because we were like, oh wait, we should probably like go see a few more states before we continue to see countries, because there are so many beautiful places here that I think get swept under the rug because Italy looks really cool, or Greece is awesome. But I mean, we just went to Phoenix last weekend.
Yep. I was living vicariously again through you.
It was amazing.
It looked amazing.
The Phoenix and Scottsdale area is a vibe. They have so much to do out there. The botanical gardens was amazing. We got to hike up mountains. I mean, it was such a little getaway for us for so much less. So it's not expensive to travel in the States. And I would say, like, you don't have to have this huge like travel budget to travel. And I also always preach, and I'll continue to preach, the benefits of business travel credit cards.
Yeah, you have to teach me that, having a business and traveling.
It's amazing because a lot of the times we're not paying money.
Wow.
It's all through points, and if you just know how to just manipulate the system a little bit,
yeah,
you just don't.
2023, Jenessa's about to teach me how to travel with my business. Yes, please do something. Now, wait, do you have a traveling something? You just had to.
No. Okay. So Cole, my friend, who I consider like a brother, Cole the barber.
Cole. Shout out to Cole.
He posted one day, I don't even need to use Expedia. Jenessa is like the best there. So then everyone started, oh my God, you're a travel agent. Can you I'm like, whoa, I'm not. I do this for like my close friends and like trips that I go on, but I am not a travel agent.
Okay.
I love to help people. I will give out free advice all day and all long. But planning a trip is actually a lot of work. And I, much like Camille with our itineraries, we do full itineraries. So I'm a very organized person.
I love it.
It takes time to do. So I'm not a travel agent.
She says she's not. You heard it here. She is not a travel agent. Let me see what the comments say real quick. Oh, Camille said it's a whole therapy session. I was on cloud 9 when I left. Oh, I love you. And then Dewana said, I agree. I love traveling with my beloved. So what was your first place you ever traveled? Do you know?
No. Again,
you travel a lot.
I do. I actually, my first was when I was young.
Okay.
I grew up in a very privileged household.
Okay.
For sure. So my mom and my grandparents kind of had us traveling pretty young. Definitely not flights. I think my very first flight was when I was maybe 11 years old, but I went to Disney. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been traveling since I was little, and I thank my family for that, because now I'm taking my daughter everywhere because I know it's the importance of traveling when you're young. So I would say probably, I don't even remember where my first place would be.
Where's your favorite? One of your favorites? Because I'm sure you have many.
Honestly, my favorite place I've ever visited was Murano in
Italy,
because
Excuse me.
It is true Italy, because it's just off the coast of Venice.
Okay.
So you're not in the hustle and bustle. It's a little town. It's an island though. So you can only travel to and from by boat, but it's probably the size of this building.
Oh, wow.
Just like a downtown. Yeah. Not this building, but like downtown. It's very small. We walked the entire island in one day.
Wow.
But there's no cars. There's really not a whole lot of TVs or electronics. You have to walk to the grocery store, it's like in a movie. It really was. And I got to really experience the true Italian culture being on Murano, in Murano. So I would say that's probably my
nice. Listen, I can't wait to travel. That's like literally like one of my goals, is just to travel more by myself and with my children. So it's like, I love watching you and how you have your daughter with you and trips, and then you go with your friends and your husband. So I love it. And I'm inspired, and I can't wait to be able to say I do. Oh yes, my favorite is I literally, sad to say, I've been on a plane one time. And I think I went to Toronto before you needed a freaking passport.
Is a vibe.
It is. Well, I was young, but that's where I saw both my Broadways ever, was The Lion King and Mamma Mia. So I do like it there, but I need to experience more life. So I do. So we are. Listen, you're not 30 yet. When are you 30?
2 years.
Okay. 30s I feel like you living a lit life, but 30s is real lit. So you're gonna be good.
Right, yeah.
Kyra, she said, I love a hood trip itinerary. Oh no, she meant to say good trip itinerary.
We've made a few hood trips.
Listen.
Experience. I'm just saying.
I love it. So I always like to ask this question. You seem like you've been on a journey, a big journey. So I always like to ask, excuse me. I always like to ask it. Yeah. And I did not have a lot. But anyways, I always like to ask the question, what would you tell your younger self at this age that you are now? And I always like to tell, the reason why I ask this is because growing up, I was very insecure. It wasn't until I had my daughter that I started to work on this self-love journey. But I always now that I'm like, 4 years into this brand and I just did my first event, like I feel like the little girl in me is like coming free. So I always like to ask this question, what would you tell your younger self now?
Oh God, it's deep.
I know.
It's deep. I would say to be patient. I went through a lot in my childhood, and I reached some very dark places at a very young age. I made a lot of mistakes. I was absolutely miserable. I partied a lot all throughout high school to hide all of the stuff I was going through, and mentally. And it got very dark, very dark. And it took making the biggest mistake I ever made, which I think everyone knows now, which would have been to try to take my own life.
Okay.
So it was just a dark time. And I was forced to get the help at that time. But even then, I manipulated my way out of it. I just was such a mass manipulator. I would lie because I was just so lost and sad. So I didn't think it could get better. And now I've lost so many friends to either overdoses or suicide. And I just wish I could tell them and my younger self to just be patient. It gets better. And that's such a cliche thing. It gets better. It gets better. Be patient. But I would just tell her to just be patient. Like, this is not your life. You're going to meet the man of your dreams. You're going to have this beautiful business, this beautiful house, this beautiful life. Like, more than anything, a happy day in and day out life. I just never experienced that like I have now. And it's really something you see on a movie or in a fairy tale or in a book. I would just tell her to just wait. Or maybe if I could, just a little glimpse, like a picture, just like hey, look at it. Just stay there, stay calm. Like, it gets, I thought that's what life was supposed to be. And I thought like hiding your feelings and suppressing everything that you were feeling at the time was the best thing to do. And it just created so many unhealthy habits. So I would just tell her to just be patient more than anything, because it gets better, and it did. So
oh girl, you're gonna make me cry. Oh, I did not know that, so thank you for sharing that with me. I've been
sharing it a lot lately, especially since like the pandemic. It's a huge issue that we're having right now in our country. And I think I was transparent a while ago on Facebook, so now I'm open to being transparent in all spaces. It was an experience. I put my family through hell. I put myself through hell. The hospital was horrible. But I truly believed that that's what life was. And I hated my life. I hated myself. So I wonder what heaven would be like. So it was just, if I could just make myself go there a little bit sooner, then, you could have a happy life. And I would tell myself this over and over again until I finally got the courage to finally do it.
Wow.
And thank God, I was saved. I was found when I was found, and it saved my life. And I'm so grateful for all of the nurses and doctors and psychiatrists and everyone who helped me, even though I didn't really understand until my older age. But it's something I even plan to tell my daughter someday, because it's just so important, especially with everything that's going on in this world. People are going through hard times, very, very hard times. And it seems like all at once.
Yeah.
my friends are being trampled with just horrible, horrible things after horrible things. And everyone's mental health is being put to war. So I don't mind sharing it anymore. It's something I hid, and there's only a few people knew. It was like posted on the news and stuff. So
oh, well, I did not know any of this.
It was back in high school.
Okay.
But like, and then at the time, I think Erie Alerts was very popular. It was posted on Twitter. And everyone was like, take it down. Because we just wanted to keep it a secret. Because anyone that knew me was like, Jenessa? Like when I didn't show up for practice because I was a huge athlete at the time, like no one would have thought that until it just got around. I was at McDowell at the time, and it got around, and I tried to suppress it. Like people would ask me, and I'd be like, no, I was sick. So now it's such a big part of who I am today. And I love to talk about it because I hope it'll make an impact in someone else's life, that it does get better. And you are so loved and so wanted, no matter what your brain tells you. There are people on this earth that would die for you. So don't.
Oh God. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I know. Thank you for sharing that and being so transparent and open about that. Because like I said, I knew nothing about that. Did not expect you to share that. But I am a firm believer that was meant to come out for somebody else that needs to hear it. And I'll tell you personally, there's somebody that I know that probably needed to hear that. So thank you so much. And let me get this comment before I cry. Jenessa, this my grandma said, Jenessa, your perceptions of friendship, life, living, and experience are outstanding. Divina, you have some interesting and amazing ladies to have conversations with. I be knowing how to pick them, okay? Actually, God be like, no, you get her on here. And I'm like, okay. And I have Tiffany Danielle. She said goosebumps. So thank you for sharing that. We have been on here for an hour and 6 minutes. So I appreciate this conversation. It's filled me up for sure. And then Paige said, I needed to hear it. Thank you. Oh, Paige. Well, I'm thinking of you and anybody else because like you said, right now, I do believe that so many of us are going through a lot. And this pandemic has definitely, I think it's been a whirlwind of things. Like some great and beautiful things have come out of it, but it also has heightened mental health, but it's also opened the door for these conversations because like you said, forever you suppress that, and for you to be able to have the strength and courage to share your story, knowing it could even change somebody else even right now or whenever they listen, is a great thing because the stigma, we're working to end the stigma of not talking about this stuff. So I'm definitely appreciative of you sharing that. So before I let you go, I always like to leave the floor for my queens to share anything that I've maybe forgot, you wish I would have said, anything you want to tell all these fans, not fans, they're your supporters in the comments, like anything you want to share that maybe I didn't touch on.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Oh, sure.
Yes, can I flip it?
Yes, you can.
So 4 years.
Oh, shoot.
4 years. And I was just telling her, as a person who works with business owners every single day across the country, 85% of businesses do fail within 2 years. That is a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact by the SBA. So you have made it 4 years through all the trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
How does it feel? I know at first you weren't like really feeling it.
Yeah.
But I want you to like feel all the things.
I know.
So on your anniversary.
I know. So I literally was like, oh, 4 years. But then you put into perspective that like people don't make it this far. Yeah, because I've wanted to give up. I wanted to give up today. I wanted to give up yesterday. But seeing the impact, I may not be in, like, the finances might not be where I want them and coming in, but the impact I'm making on so many people already from this brand that I honestly am kind of just going whatever I say I want to do now. Especially, I keep telling people, like, I did my Sip and Slay soiree this year, and that was huge for me. Like, if you know me, you know my birthday is a big deal for me. I've always dreamed of having this big party, and I always was like, well, what are people gonna think? I'm this Christian girl. Like, how am I gonna have a party and people be turning up and drinking? And but it was so elegant and classy and everything I would have wanted in an event. And I'm like, if I can do this, like I can do anything. So Divinely Crowned, the growth has been very hard. I also believe because of the line of work my business is in, I'm pouring out daily and trying to be this light, but it is hard. It is hard. But you telling me that 4 years people don't make it, like, listen, I'm not stopping anytime soon. Somebody told me, they're like, here's the 4 years and 400 more to go. And I'm like, you're right. You know why? Because this is a legacy that I'm building for my children. My daughter, I watch how she is and how she talks to just people and how she wants to be this light. And she's told me, like, Mommy, when I get older, I'm going to take over Divinely Crown'd, and then my daughter is going to do it. And I'm like, listen, you can do whatever you want, but I would love to see you do that. But like for them to, my son met one of my old teachers, Miss Ulmer. Do you remember?
Yes.
So she goes, she's like, I used to teach your son, your mom. And he's like, oh, well, she owns DivinelyCrown'd.com. And I was like, it's just so beautiful to watch everybody who is, they're so proud. And it's just like, I'm not just doing it for them or myself. I'm doing it for everybody. Like you talk about friendships and like my circle, like I do it for everybody. And even just watching like my mom and dad and how driven they are and my sisters, it's like I can't stop. I can't stop now. So I just now, but it's also weird because it's like I'm very humble. And I get told that a lot, but I'm just trying to like just be myself in this. Like I don't do any of this for clout or to be popular. I do this because I know in my heart this is what I'm supposed to do. And I cry a lot about it. But it's a beautiful thing. It's been fun for sure. So
good. Yeah, it's exhausting to
it is.
especially in this industry where, you know, everything you put out might not come back, especially in a financial aspect.
Yeah.
So I commend you for everything that you're doing here. You are having deep conversations with people and being able to post this online for everyone to see. Yes. But it's more than that. It's creating a brand that is true and authentic to who you are. And I think that's just a beautiful thing. And
thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Look, yes. First of all, I did not know this was going to be such an emotional interview, but I'm loving every minute of it. Camille, she said, feel all the feels, Davina. And then your husband, he said, bless you on your journey, Davina. You got that Ron Paisley like. He used to always say that. And he said, look at you acting all Ron Paisley like that's my dad. Oh my God. Great things ahead. Thank you so much. Elaine, she said, happy anniversary. Well, thank you for the question. Look at that. Don't be coming out here, all y'all trying to flip thing on play. I enjoy this, but I always like to give my queens their flowers. So I just want to tell you thank you, not just for saying yes to this interview, saying yes to being transparent, not just for others to hear, but for yourself, because I hope that this heals you as you continue to grow. And you are just doing great things out here. Like you, every time I see you, I just get so happy of all the things you're doing. I'll never forget at the Black Girl Magic pop-up shop, and I just watched you, and I'm just like, she is so beautiful, and just her presence. So keep just being you and being the light that I know you are. So I appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody who watched today and interacted. Shout out to Jenessa's support system because y'all are A1. I appreciate you guys watching. Like we said, it is my 4-year anniversary. So I think I'm going to come back on here later. Around probably like 8:30 and go live and maybe give some things away. So you guys just look out for some of my posts because I might have some things for y'all to do. But in the meantime, remember to like this live, connect with Jenessa on her. I don't know if there's a place you want them to connect with you, but if you do, we can put it in the show notes. And you'll also just see her around Erie because we have her here for 5 more years. So treat her right while she's here. But yes, so just I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will be talking to you soon. And thank you, Danielle Lee. She said happy anniversary as well. And just remember, you are all divinely crowned. Bye. Bye.